fine, I'll pay attention to you.
You ever get the feeling that you should care about something more? Super Smash Bros., the ultimate crossover series right next to Fortnite. From its low poly conception to where it is now, you can't bring up fighting games without Smash being brought into the mix. During the early Wii U days, it was announced that Smash Bros. Would come to the console. Finally, I can punch Mario in HD. It's been my dream. However, in that same presentation, it was revealed that Smash would also come to the 3DS, with the two versions each being able to talk to one another. Minds were blown. Back in the day, there were so many mock-ups of Wii games being played on the DS, and some ranged from being really lazy and shitty to some of the most high-effort things I've ever seen. I mean, I got gaslit into thinking Super Mario Galaxy DS existed.
I got a tattoo of it and everything. Needless to say, I'm a bit hurt by it.
So when this announcement was made, it got people hyped. The lead up to Smash 4 was agonizing. People loved Smash Melee and still proceeded to shit on Brawl. But there were a ton of questions after this reveal. Will there be a new Subspace Emissary? Which new fighters will be revealed? What would Smash on a 3DS even look like? Well, for E3 2013, we would see it all come to fruition. A fake-out Animal Crossing trailer, followed by the classic logo cutting into the screen. Jump cutting between all these different franchises, and here it was. Our first look at Smash Bros. On the 3DS.
So they made Bowser stand up straight.
Listen, it didn't matter how much nothing was shown. This was hype! But it's clear that there was more of a focus on the Wii U version of this game. And yeah, it looked beautiful, but I wanted low-resolution gameplay, damn it! It was excruciating. I didn't care how stupid the titles were. I wanted to play Smash on my 3DS! There were months of finding out more details, seeing all the beautiful CGI trailers, and just wondering what this game would actually be like, until that fateful day where I got my hands on the demo. A sleepover with my cousin led us to staying up way too late the night before our bowling league just to get a glimpse of Smash Bros. For the 3DS. It took so long to download, but we played it. And I guess it was cool.
I honestly don't remember any of my initial thoughts on the game. I did, however, try to play it as much as I can with friends and family alike, but I don't know, I wasn't fully impressed with it when I was playing it. I felt like something was missing, but I did reserve my thoughts until the full release came out.
Which was odd because they didn't release Smash 3DS and Wii U on the same day. I mean, back then I thought it was dumb, but in hindsight, it makes so much sense. It gave it time for people to settle in before the big boy release, so Smash for the 3DS worked as an appetizer and not the main course. It was released in Japan first, which gave me the biggest FOMO the planet could ever conceive. But finally, on October 3rd, 2014, a trip to GameStop gave me everything I ever dreamed of as a 13-year-old. Super Smash Bros., a game only known to the home console, could be played on the go wherever I wanted to. Hell yeah.
I don't remember if I took this game outside of my home, but I had to, right? I mean, the bowling league ate this shit up when I had it day one, but it doesn't end there. I don't remember a single thing about this version of the game, and I'm starting to get concerned about early onset Alzheimer's.
You leave the oven on all the time.
Computer, for the last time, I do that because I like the smell of burnt.
Oddly enough, I do remember this title screen. You just don't forget that kind of awkwardness. Every Smash game has had an intro before the title, the titular theme of the game that plays before the title gets shoved down your esophagus. This one here, though, it just gives that feeling of both dread and dear God, this is all we could do on this little cartridge. It's also weird because you get bombarded with a bunch of achievements and random stuff you just unlocked, and it's cool, it's really cool. It's like, whoa, I did a thing, but I didn't even see a Mario yet.
That's like being rewarded for just being boring. Like, listen, I appreciate the accolade, but I don't even know what it's like to be conscious yet. But at least I got scholarship money for it.
It becomes very clear that the bottom screen has no real use in this game. It's all just filler. It can show your percentage and like some menu stuff, but that's about it. And speaking of menus, wow, I forgot how dumb the Smash 4 menus are. And on the 3DS, it's just a tad bit worse. Everything is so awkwardly spaced out and on a diagonal axis. Like, are you kidding me? Why does the challenges menu have such a thinner outline? Why is online a circle? This shit's so awkward it makes going on a first date a breeze.
So, what's it like being...
I'm sorry. Sheets is one thing to look awkward, it's another thing to feel awkward. Navigating this just feels bad. It just does, there's no other way to put it. Maybe the menus wouldn't feel this awkward if it weren't on the 3DS. Yeah, that's one thing about Smash games, is that you get a crazy amount of controller support. But here, you just get the system that it's on. It's kind of weird. The lack of a dedicated C-stick makes it hard to properly hit combos, because tilting and smash attacks now have to be done manually. It takes a bit to get used to, and even then, it's hard to really get accustomed to it. The 3DS control landscape escape changes a lot of things. L isn't shield, it's grab because there's no Z-like button to even exist. Sorry, lefties, but it's another point for the right-handers. We stay winning. No, don't show that you can change it in the settings. Regardless of the button placement, it is not a fun way to play Smash Brothers. The circle pad will often be a bit too sensitive and mix up directions sometimes. If you're not fully holding up, it will most likely input as a side input, and that's annoying because when you're playing a game, you want to feel confident that the controller you're using is responsive and not ass.
Listen, before you say, ugh, don't blame the controller, blame the player. Listen, I know I'm terrible at Smash. I will not deny that. But this thing does not help. It's small, it's cramped, it smells like clams, and it would have been the worst controller to play Smash with if the Wiimote didn't exist.
And they offered you to use this to play the Wii U version of the game. What? Was this like a thing they really wanted, or did they do this because they said these two games would work with each other? Because why would you use this? I know someone's gonna type out, well, I actually like the 3DS as a controller. Shut the f up. Try playing this as an adult and not a 9-year-old baby shitter. It sucks. Which is such a sad thing because this version of the game has better modes and gameplay than the Wii U version. Yes, I am saying that. I am sticking to it. I don't care what you think.
Oh, believe me, I know that's a loaded statement, but did you really think that the version with Smash Tour was gonna be the better option here?
In terms of returning modes, Classic Mode feels the most unique out of all the games. You get to scale up your difficulty on this really cool slider, and then you get one of 3 paths to choose from for each round that you fight. Red's the hardest, green's the easiest, and blue is a little bit in the middle. The logo on each path gives you a glimpse of who you might be fighting, and in all honesty, this feels like a good step in the right direction for Classic Mode. From 64 to Brawl, it was the same thing over and over again. It gets boring with the same gauntlet each round, getting predictable and easy to beat. Here, it spices things up. You have influence over what you're doing, and you can challenge yourself if you want, or take an easier path if you just want to get through it.
It's really funny because the Classic Mode overhaul works really well for Smash on 3DS. It doesn't take too long to beat, and it's arguably the best way to unlock all the characters in the game. This alone would have been enough for a Smash game, but there's another little tiny mode that really should have been put on the Wii U version.
Smash Run is what happens when you take Subspace, make it multiplayer, and remove like all the story. You have 5 minutes to defeat as many enemies as you can to get badges. These badges increase your stats like your speed, your jump, your attack, etc. The goal is to try to max out your stats because at the end of the run you will fight your opponents with these stats you've collected. It's honestly a very cool idea. Normal Smash can get very stale on a console that is widely uncomfortable to play with, so it's cool to get a very unique mode that is also very much fun. But it does drag on for a bit. Going through collecting these badges takes a very long time, a bit too long if I were to say. If it were just 2 minutes shorter, that'd be perfect, that'd be fine. You have a whole game afterwards to partake in, and that can take who knows how long. That's a small complaint though. This is a good game mode, and I'm so happy that it's here.
I've been comparing these two versions of the game a lot, and to be honest, why wouldn't I? They were marketed together and are essentially the same game, but both have their own faults. The Wii U has a terrible single-player experience. None of the modes are even worth it after you try it maybe once. Whereas the 3DS version of the game has great single-player options, it has a terrible multiplayer experience.
Smash Brothers is a game where you really need multiple people to have fun. Otherwise, it's more lonely than attending a one-person orgy.
This is a what now?
These single-player modes are great, but it's not why I play Smash Brothers. It's a party game where I compete with my friends on a couch next to me. Oh. Or online over Discord and such. Smash for Wii U, I'd be playing almost every night with a bunch of friends, but Smash on the 3DS? I don't remember playing against other people. Online? Yeah, it's there. You'd be lucky to find someone to play with you because who's going to be playing this game in this day and time? And by the time you're watching this, the online is probably just gone and shut down. So the only way you can play this with other people is if they have a 3DS and a copy of the game. There's no download play option. Arguably the best thing Nintendo's ever made for the DS, they just don't use here. There's no way you can hook up another controller to it. It's just simply a bad multiplayer experience.
You can't really have Smash 3DS tournaments, and while they probably have existed, it feels like after the Wii U version came out, this version of the game felt a lot more like a gimmick. It's amazing that they managed to do this in the first place, but you can tell how hard it really was just by listening to the quality of the music. That's not coming from a speaker, that's just how it sounds.
Everything is super compressed to fit in this tiny little cartridge, and sadly, this version of the game affected Smash for Wii U. They wanted the content to be relatively similar with the same characters and such, but that meant transforming characters had to be split in two. They couldn't be as many unlockable characters, and the Ice Climbers were axed altogether because the 3DS just couldn't handle it. I think that's why Smash Ultimate went into development right away after this one. The 3DS had so many limitations that the Wii U version had to follow it, and it created a very underwhelming package on both systems. Now, for the time, this wasn't the case. It was so cool. These games created so many milestones for Smash Brothers. The first game to be on a handheld, the first game to be in HD, but looking back, there's no reason to really return to either one of these games. Did there need to be a Smash Brothers on the 3DS? No, but more people owned this system than the Wii U, and that thing was a huge failure, and no matter how popular Smash is, it was never going to sell that console. So to have a 3DS version of a similar game meant that more people would be able to experience it. But when was the last time you picked this game up? I have not returned to this game since the Wii U variant came out, and looking back, while it was a fun concept, it never really felt like more than a novelty.
I'm noticing that a lot of 3DS games fall under that line. Super Mario 3D Land feels very similar in that regard. But no matter what I think, there were kids out there who had a 3DS and only a 3DS. No Wii U, and they probably never got a Wii U to begin with. So to be able to partake in what was at the time the biggest crossover in gaming history, that's huge! And they were able to have a good time with the game whether they had friends or not, and that right there is the reason why this game should exist. In the lineup that is every Smash game out there, it's hard to definitively say which one is the worst one. They're all so unique in their own regards, but each one has features that we wish were in other titles. Ultimately, while I do think this one is the weakest title out of the entire franchise, it's definitely not a bad one to have. What? Just because I don't think it's bad doesn't mean I'm gonna play it again.